Good evening everyone, welcome back to DTR Division 3. We're in Singapore this evening. Looking a bit gloomy out there. Can't see any rain. But there's a Mercedes on his way out, so we'll jump on board with him. But I'm just going to check that I'm live. Yeah, I'm good. Right, who was that going out the pits? It looked like a Mercedes. No, it wasn't a Mercedes. Blind. Alpha Tauri is Zesty, who is Ryan undercover, I hear. We didn't get a stream of Belgium because for some reason it didn't go onto YouTube. It didn't load up. And I was saying how this new rookie was very, very good, and then find out it's Ryan sneaking around with a new name. But anyway, we will do our normal jump on board with Ryan for the first lap when he gets back around to the start-finish line, and then we'll catch up and see where everyone is. But Ryan is definitely someone to watch. And when I say Ryan, I'll call him Zesty, just for your benefit at home. We've got a bit of a title battle going on. But Brandon has one hand on the title, so he is the man to watch today. I think he's 29 points clear in the championship. He's dominated a few races here. I remember in Silverstone actually he was very unlucky. He sort of lost it going into the pit straight. So could already be champion by now if he'd held on to that. But yeah, he's got a great chance today. Any sort of big points, and he is Champiano. But anyway, Zesty coming round to start his first lap. So we're going down the pit straight into turn 1. Get back on the power, ready for turn 2. Careful on traction on the way out, because it can spit you out, but Zesty has got full control over that into a fast right-hander. Got to be patient again on the throttle, can lose the rear end of the car out of there, but this is the first of the DRS zones. You can see his wing is wide open. My favourite corner on the game, I think. You just got to trail brake through there, take as much speed as you can, and then you come into a right and then a left-hander. The left-hander being not quite as tight, but again that wall closes in on you as you start to put the power down. And then this is a very interesting part of the track, so pretty tight. You're about to go over the bridge for a right, then a left. Over the bridge we go, and then we're going to about to turn it to a hairpin. So again, you can't fully brake there because your car will not make the turn. So you've got to be gentle on the brakes. And then coming down into, I believe this is sector 3, into a little tricky chicane coming up here. And you've got to be careful of these curves because they can again spit you out just like that. Sorry to jinx you, my friend. Let's see if we can pick up. That was a Mercedes that's just gone by. So, yes, it's Hayward actually. So, he's on out there. We'll watch with him. Let me just sort my menus out because I haven't done that yet. Don't want telemetry. We want the lap data. That's what we want. So, we'll try and catch sector 3 with Hayward. So, no one's set a lap just yet. As he makes his way down to turn 1, there is a DRS zone there, which you could say is the first or the last, depending on how you want to look at it, but the DRS opens just before the start-finish line. And then sweeps his way round into the first of the DRS sections. Ooh, just gets a bit out of shape there on exit, and that's what I was saying, you can lose traction if you're not careful on the power, but his DRS is wide open as he swings the car in. And we're getting our first laps in now. Raylick with a 38.5, Tom Putty with a 39.4. Raylick had a brilliant race in Division 2 yesterday, so he'll be hoping for more of the same tonight. Pac-Man's now put a 139.6 in as we continue on board with Hayward through Sector 2 and towards the bridge section. You can see his car really wants to step out, and Brandon puts it on provisional pole with a 38.0. And we'll try and watch him when the last runs go. And I wonder if anyone will be saving any tyres for, any soft tyres maybe for a late safety car. Might only see some people coming out for 2 runs here as Cassell puts a 38.8 in. Hackett's a 39.1. And this is where we lost Zesty a little bit earlier. And that's the curb you've got to be careful of. It's actually a little bit more raised than it looks. And it can just spit the car out, and just got to let the car roll through this section. Coming into another chicane before you get a big blast down to the start-finish sort of corners. And again, you can carry tons of speed through here, but got to make sure, again, you don't lose the rear end of the car on the way out. And Jove goes into the front row. So the two Mercedes are locking out that front row so far, and that was a Bastin's third sector. Who have we got? I think it's Connor on a lap. He's coming around into sector 3 now by the look of it. So he makes his way into the chicane area. And that's the race curb I was talking about. So yeah, like the way Connor took that there is absolutely fine, because it's just the outside of the wheel taken to the outside of the curb. If you get any more than that, then your wheel becomes unbalanced, the car loses some traction, and there's a car that's lost it up here, I think over the start finish line. Doesn't seem to be anyone out, but can we see it? No, they've got moving again, so we're all good. So that's Connor over the line into 5th with a 38.7. He would be happy with a 5th place start, I think. Wazza, I think, is on his way round his lap, and is he getting a bit of a tow here? And that looks like a Haas. Well, it got out of the way. I wonder if it was a tactical tow. I'm not sure, but it's a purple first sector. Took a bit of curb there, it's risky, but gets away with it. Waz has got plenty of pace. Just got to be patient in race. See how many positions he can pick up. Unless he whacks it on pole. Anyone that can keep Brandon off the top is going to have put in a very good lap. And you can see Waz has just rotated that car perfectly through there. Carried tons of speed through it. Managed to get the front end of the car to turn in. And missing the curb this time. Away in 3rd gear. You can use a bit of that first curb, that's fine. It's this curb, just got to be careful on, and Waz was patient there. He did hit it, but he was patient on the throttle, which is why it didn't spit him out. And using a lot of curb there. I don't think that gains you too much doing it on that last one, because again you have to be patient to get back on the throttle, because it sort of makes your car jump. And here he comes across the line. It's a 38.5, and it's enough for 4th. Little Mikey, who had a solid race yesterday in Division 2 up into 2nd, said that he was rubbish at quali, but he's right in the mix, as Nellboy puts in a purple 2nd sector now. So can he keep that up? Because Nellboy actually is 2nd in the championship, is the one that can put some pressure on Brandon, but he's going to need some help from the Mercedes driver, I think. Maybe some other cars around him to make it happen. And he's coming round into this last chicane, ready for a double left-hander. His ERS is off, so is he starting a lap now, or? Oh wow, look at that, a 37.7. He must have just been low on ERS from the end of the lap. What a lap from Nellboy. He's put a marker down. Bobspin, what can you do? As he comes across the line now, that looks pretty quick. It is, it's a 37.8, so the track seems to be getting a bit quicker. And Zesty's back out. We saw him earlier. Let's go to Guna first. He's coming around the 3rd sector now. Round in the last 2 corners, carrying as much speed as he possibly can. It's in the 38. It's a 38.6, right behind his brother there. So let's go back to Zesty, who's the last man to set a time. Has been out. He spun it, if we remember. So he might not be able to save that set of soft tyres, but he won't care. He's really good on medium and hard tyres. So let's see what he does. So everyone's so far been pretty well behaved. We haven't seen any major accidents. I would say that we won't get any in the race, but it's just the type of track that just brings out a safety car naturally. It's very tight in places, not many places to overtake, so you get people making some opportune moves. Zesty really pushing the car now. As I think we've got a McLaren that just either letting a car through or went on a bit of a spin. But anyway, Zesty This is where he lost it last time. This is where all the time is for him now. Quite cautious through the bridge. Through the tunnel. On his way over the line. How quick is it? It's not going to be in the 37s, I don't think. It's a 39.0, so some work to do for Zesty. Is Brandon back out? He is. He's gone purple in the first sector. He's got Nelboy to chase down. He's 3/10 behind him currently. Your championship leader is the guy we're watching now. As he comes round into the second sector. And this is massive for your time, this, and that's perfect. You can cut that first pit of curb. Miss that curb on the inside and miss that curb as well. And I think he's nailed that. So if he had time in sector 2 to gain, he has gained it. It looks smooth. Bog's put in a time of a 39.6. Tom Pussy, I think we saw earlier. Pac-Man with a 39.6. Cassell's dropped out of the top 10 with a 38.8. And 2 Ferraris are out on track, so I'm assuming they're going to come around and start a lap if they're not on one already. But anyway, we're with Brandon right now on his second run. Needs a 3/10 improvement. Where is he at? Oh, I don't think he's quite going to do it. It could be close actually. It is, it's a 37.5, so he does improve. What do I know about trying to judge times? Brandon goes back into pole, or provisional pole, with a 37.5. That's a great lap. So Nelboy got it all to do to try and recover that. And look at Reliot putting it up into third. So he's improved on his time. We've got Hayward. We have been on board with him. So let's go with Cass, who seems to be 4/10 up. What would that do for him? That'll put him up into 5th-ish. But he's still got plenty of the lap to go. He can improve by even more. So let's see what he can do. And you'll probably notice that I'll stick on board quite a lot tonight because the camera angles are not so great around the street circuits. There's not a lot of room for us to view it, but I'll keep trying it. But here's an example. Can't really see him. So as he comes around into the hairpin, traction zone, got to be careful. He's running out of ERS. Is he actually on a hot lap or has he pulled out? I think. No, he's pulled out of it. Okay then, Hackett's on the way in the pits, so no point in watching him. Connor has invalidated. Pac-Man looks like he's not improving. Bog is starting a lap. Let's go to Bog. Going through turn 1 now. Swings it in to the left-hander. Might have time to get back in. Depends. It depends actually. I don't think he can complete this lap, get round and back in and out again. So this could be his last run. I think he won't mind that with a clear track. He'll probably be saving a set of softs for the race. He cuts a perfect amount of that corner, so I'm expecting to see some gains through this first sector. Oh, he's already gone through the sector, so I didn't see it. But anyway, he's going through the bridge section now. Oh, the gears sounded a bit weird there. It's almost like he went up and down the gear. I don't know. Maybe it jumped. Maybe it's just the animation of the game, maybe. So he is 3/10 down on his time. He's going to need a bit more than that really to give him any sort of significant jump. Oh, he cuts a lot of the curb and that invalidates him. So he can get in the pits and get back out. Don't know if he'll choose to do that. It's not such a bad thing being at the back in this race. So Connor is now starting another lap. As we saw, he had invalidated last time. So he will go and hit this lap. And actually what we'll do in a second, unless Nelboy's about to set his time now. Nope, he's coming over it. So I'm actually going to jump to Nell because it's for the title. So let's get on board with him and watch his quali lap. He's got 2/10 to find if he's going to move Brandon away from pole position. And is Brandon coming out the pits or is it Hayward? One of the Mercedes, it's Hayward. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if Brandon decides to come out. But anyway, Nelboy, purple first sector, so it's a great start. Look how neat and tidy he is. He's clipping nearly every apex. It's got good control over the car here. Decides not to use any of the curbing. It's a tiny bit wide, but has recovered it. And he's pulled out of the lap. I wonder if he didn't like the exit of that corner, maybe. What about Bobspin then? He is 2 tenths up. What's that going to do to his time? That's going to put him into second if he carries on with that. Oh, and you can see the curb just spitting him out a little bit there. That might have cost him a little bit of time. Flicks it down into 5th. And what's it going to do to him? Yeah, he lost a bit of time, didn't he, there? But it's up into 3rd. 37.7. I think that's his last run. I don't think he's going to get another one in. What about Wazza? Looks like he's on a lap. What's he doing? He's coming around the last set of corners now. What's he going to post? A 38.5. Not. Oh, that's his last time. So maybe he's starting the lap now. Game's tripping me out. It didn't say he was on an out lap. It's like he already started it. But let's jump back with Connor, who's invalidated. So let's get away from him. We'll jump on with Tom. We haven't seen him yet tonight. And then we'll go back to... who was it? I can't remember. But we'll go back to Joe, who's also on a lap. Just started, coming around turn 2 now. Anyway, Tom... He's improved every year I've watched him. Keeps getting better and better, so seems to be hooking this lap up pretty well, but that's a bit risky going over that curbing. But if you're going to take it all nice and quick around the hairpin. I've seen a couple of guys say that really nicely tonight. They're going to have to teach me how to do that. I'm not very good at it. Anyway, Tom continues into sector 3. Is that his teammate behind him? Or is it the Williams? Might be the Williams. Just got to be careful on the gas around there. You can see he's just going to hit the outside wall, and again just getting a bit, just pushing it a bit too hard. Sometimes you just got to be a bit neater and a little bit slower, because you lose so much more trying to push too hard. Flicks it into 5th, takes the shortest route to the line. It's a 39.0, 4 tenths up. Hayward will probably be one of the next to come across the line. And I think Nellboy might just get round, you know, to start another lap. So he's going to be the last car to cross the line. Oh no, he was on his lap. It's a 37.2. That's massive. Okay, so we'll watch Hayward, and then I think Brandon is back out, so we'll jump to him. But Hayward's coming in the pits. He's done. So what is Brandon doing? Barely up on his time. So where is he going to find the time? Is it in sector 2? Can he get back in front of Nellboy, who's his nearest rival in the championship? Lots to be sorted out. Bobspun is finished. Connor is finished. Pac-Man's finished. We've seen Hayward go into the pits. Hackett is finished. He's into 6th with a 38.0. Relia looks like he might be out on track, so he could be putting in another lap. Same with Guna. Brandon just tried to take that curb and it didn't appreciate it. And same with that one, really. Been a bit scrappy around this final part of the lap. You can hear him, and he's given up on it. So Nellboy, I think, is going to be pole unless one of these guys can snap it off him. This is suggesting that Wazza is not improving on his time. It might... Aurelia gets up into 3rd with a 37.5. Yeah, Wazza's finished. He's out. So he is going to be in 5th unless Mikey can overtake him. What's he going to do? Like I said earlier, very good race in Division 2 yesterday. What time can he pull off? It's looking quite quick. It's a 37.8. He'll be happy with that. He's in 6th. Who else have we got? We've got Tom Putty's coming into the pits, and we've got Zesty on the way to the line. Oh, nearly invalidated it, but improves by a 10th. He's up to 12th. He won't be the happiest with that, but he will start on the hard tyres, I assume. You see Zesty running along quite often. So, what a quality, and that is a dominant performance from Nellboy at the front. Look at that, 37.2, 3 tenths away from anyone else. Brandon in 2nd, 37.5. Relia nearly matching him with a 37.5. Is he on a lap? No, he's finished. Bobspun on a 37.7. Wazza 37.8. Little Mikey with a great quali, 37.8. And then we're into the 38s with Hackett, Cass, Joe can't help his team out on this occasion. Guna in 10th seems to be struggling. Connor in 11th, Zesty 12th, Pac-Man 13th, Tom in 14th, and Bog 15th. So not a lot really to choose between the drivers, other than Nell, who's absolutely obliterated it out the front with nearly a 3/10 gap. And then Brandon and Reliot seem to be in the same league. And then we've got everyone else about 5/10 to a second back. And then Bog, who I think saved a set of softs for the race, so he won't be too disappointed with being at the back. He will just let the race come to him, as he says. And I think it's a very sensible strategy around here. Likely to see some safety cars. It's a very narrow track. People can get very impatient around here. But just to give you a bit of an update on the standings, because there's still plenty to play for, especially for the Race of Champions as well. So Brandon leads the way, 110 points. Nellboy, 29 back, 81 points. Then we've got Reliot in 3rd, Crudor in 4th, Bog in 5th. But just to give you some context, Bog's got 39 points, so long way off the top 3. So that top 3 looks pretty glued in, I think. It's just a matter of what order will they finish in. And just as I look up, there is... it still looks a bit hazy out there, but it's not, doesn't look like rain. I wonder if there'll be some rain later in the race. Has any of the drivers said anything? Let's have a look. No, it doesn't seem to be any... So, time to check tyre choices, and ooh, Brandon on the hards, Nellboy on the hards. Ooh-hoo-hoo. So, Nellboy hards, Brandon hards, Reliot, Bobspin, Wazza mediums. Those 3 will be quick. And whoa, we've even got a soft runner. I actually don't mind that. I was tempted to do it myself yesterday because there's likely to be an early safety car, and you can come in, get rid of them. But I don't know, it's a bit of a waste of a pit stop. He's out the back anyway. So worst case scenario, if the safety car doesn't come, you pit in, you come in for some fresh tyres, you get free air to just pump in some quali laps. But yeah, I'm not sure it's the right strategy, to be honest, which is why I went against it in the end. But anyway, that's Connor. We'll see how he gets on. So Mikey, Hackett, Cass, Haywood, Guna all on hard tyres, Zesty on hards, Bog at the back on hards. Pac-Man and Tom decide to go mediums. We could see something like a soft medium from Connor. Even the guys on medium could do some sort of medium soft, or they could go medium hard. I think it's really going to depend on how the race plays out. No one's told me that there's any chance of rain, so we just have to keep an eye on it, see if it does rain here. There is a high chance of rain around here. But for now, bone dry. Nellboy leading them round. Let's get rid of some of this menu just while we watch the start of the race. Nellboy and the Haas leading them round. They'll be weaving to warm up their tyres. They'll be sat on the grid waiting for the grid to form. And then we'll get underway. Just one thing just to update is the constructors as well. I didn't do that, because that is quite a close battle actually, thinking about it. Mercedes 130 points, Haas 120 points. So Haywood and Bog are going to have a massive part to play in that. And then we've got Alfa Romeo on 113, McLaren on 93, and they're the contenders. So we'll see how they get on anyway. But here we go. They're lining up the grid. Nell is in position, pointing his way over to turn 1. Brandon is doing the opposite and pointing outwards. So let's see how this goes. Turn the menus off. We're waiting for the lights. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Long wait. Go! And Nell Boy is off the line pretty well. Relio looks like he's off the line pretty well as well. Brandon's going to try and get down the inside, but Nell covers it off brilliantly. So he gets out in front. Brandon manages to save his position. Let's look backwards a little bit. Everyone looks like they're getting through there. But there's a Red Bull that's turned round. Right, let's get the menus back up. Who was it? It was Wazza. On those medium tyres of spun it. Mikey is having a scrap with Joe already. And look at that, 4 wide into this corner. Let's go backwards and watch it further up front. So we're on board with the Ferrari of Connor. Just looking at this train of cars as the Ferrari is going down the inside of Joe. Joe manages to keep the position so far. He's going to have the inside line and the Ferrari has to back out. Oh, he's going to keep his nose in there. This is great wheel-to-wheel racing. They're doing well not to touch each other. He's had to run over the curb. And Hayward is still trying to keep track position, but Hayward has to give it up. Pac-Man makes the move, but Joe is trying to switch it back on him. This is brilliant racing. Waz has made his way past Guna already. Guna finds himself at the back. I didn't see that either. Wonder if those two got caught up. But some great racing from Pac-Man and Hayward there. It was very clean. I mean, very brave from Pac-Man to try and chuck it down the inside there. But Cass seems to be closing in on Hackett a bit further up the field. But let's just recap that. So Nell Boy gets away off the line very well. He's 8/10 clear of Brandon already. Nearly a second. So looking very good on those hard tyres. Brandon struggling to keep up. Relliot managed to keep 3rd. Bobspun in 4th. And this is where you start to see some of the changes. So Hackett's up to 5th. Cass in 6th. Little Mikey down into 7th. Zesty's made his way through the field nicely up into 8th. Pac-Man with a great overtake on Hayward. Connor in 11th. Tom in 12th. Bog already up to 13th. Wazza dropped to the back. And Guna has since been overtaken by him. So Guna is the back marker currently, but there is a long way to go in this race yet. We're still on board with Cass, who is looking at the back of Hackett. And he's closing this gap in. And let's see what camera angle we can get off board. Is he going to go for a move? He just gives it a little jolt to make it look like he was going to, but sensibly stays out of it. So everyone's been well behaved so far. Not sure what happened to Wazza into turn 1, but it is a hard place to get some traction. So I wonder if it was of his own accord or whether he got some little tap. We'll find out after the race, I'm sure. But anyway, Nell is pulling away out in front, and Relliot is going to want to get past Brandon as soon as possible so he can try and keep up with Nell. But he's struggling currently. And Cass is now starting to drop back a bit. So let's get up front here to... Let's jump on board with Bobspun. Because he is quite close to this pack. And might want to make a move on Relliot himself. But Brandon looks like he's holding up these two. And you can just see Nell further down the road. But the hard tyres are quite slow around this track, if I'm honest. So we'll see some lap time difference. But Nell is making a really good show of it so far, and I guarantee he will be nursing that ERS up front for when he needs it. No one able to match his lap times here. He's gone fastest, and Relliot's trying to have a look at Brandon, probably just trying to put him under a little bit of pressure. And you imagine you just want to try and force the other driver into using his ERS so that you can have an easy overtake. But I think Brandon is a bit smarter than that. He shouldn't drink it all round here. But anyway, it looks like Relliot wants to go on the attack here. And he's looking towards the inside. Oh, he just wasn't close enough. I think he could have gone for that, but decides to fight for another day. He doesn't want to do it all now. The race is not won here. But he is going to want to do it soon because he doesn't want to destroy the life of those medium tyres. So we're starting to see some gaps appear now. So Bobspun has dropped back a second. Hackett's managed to get back in his DRS zone. Cass is still all over the back of Hackett, but not close enough to make a move just yet. So little Mikey's a second back. Very good race in Division 2 yesterday. Took control after the rain started. But look at Hackett. Right on Bobspin. Has actually chucked it down the inside. And there's a little bit of contact there. But they're pretty respectful about it. And Hackett has to get out of the move. Pulls back in behind him to try and take the racing line. But this is really starting to punish them because they're now 2.5 seconds back from Reliot. Just jump on board because I can't see anything that camera's giving me. So Hackett on Bobspin. Cassel's just waiting in the wings, and Mikey has just joined the back of this group. And Bobspin, is he coming in the pits? He is. He must have picked up some damage. So Hackett moves through, Cass will move through, and they will all keep jumping in. So Hackett now, is he going to come under some pressure as Wazza starts to put in the fastest lap of the race, and so he should on those mediums. He's going to have to get on with it after dropping to the back of the field. Cassell is the man we're on board with. Reliot is getting close to Brandon. Don't think he's close enough to make a move, but just in case we miss something, he's going to go around the outside this time, and he has swept around the outside, but he's had to run deep, and he has to give the place back. He can't do it off track. So good racing. Couldn't quite get it done as Guna gets past Bog further down the field, and they're a little bit detached, 3 seconds back, so they might use each other to try and pull them up the field a little bit. But those seconds gaps have really started to fall in behind. Well, it was Bobspin, wasn't it? But Hackett now leads this train, so he's bunching people up behind. Pac-Man's 2:10, so you can see he's been quite racy today already. So let's see if he wants to try something down into this next corner. He's going to go for the outside line, and he's going to try and outbrake Ryan. And he's been given the room, and that looks like it's going to be a very good move, and he's going to get that done. So great move from Pac-Man. Oh, as he tries to cut the front of it, and there's a little bit of glitch in there, but Zesty manages to gain that place back. That's brilliant racing. I think there was a couple of little taps in there, but nothing really to get too shirty about. But you can see that Zesty is driving the nuts off his car here. You can see the rear end just getting a bit twitchy, but you can just see the damage it does to the gap in front. As soon as someone tries to make a move, look, they're 2 seconds back already. Let's jump on board with Pac-Man, just in case he can make another move. And you'd think he's going to have a go at the end of this straight, because he's going to get the DRS. There's no point in Zesty trying to fight this too hard, but the longer he can keep Pac-Man behind him, the more damage it's going to do to his race, I suppose. But look at that, Zesty's off, but he likes to use as Brandon and Reliot are at it again. But Reliot looks like he might have made a stick this time. He kept 2 wheels on the track, and he gets the inside line, and he's through. So Brandon has finally been overtaken by Reliot and just caught the back end of the move. Sorry I didn't catch more of that, Reliot, but good move, and it was one that was necessary. So he's got to get on with it now. Can he break that gap to Nellboy? 2.1 seconds it was. So we'll keep an eye on that as time goes on and see if he can make some inroads. But Hackett seemed to have made a bit of time up there on Cass, but Cass quite aggressive through the bridge, managed to reel a bit of it back in. But Zesty now 2 seconds away from this little group ahead, and Mikey's just waiting for his opportunity to appear. And Brandon's just about keeping up with Reliot here, and that'll be important if he can keep that DRS. Just give him a little bit of protection from the guys behind. As Pac-Man is still right there with Zesty, who, like I said before, is having to drive the absolute nuts off that car to try and keep ahead of him. And you can just see he's using a bit too much curb, which is spitting his car out all over the place. And Pac-Man's just got to be patient here. Joe is waiting in the wings to see if anything can happen. Waz is making his way through the field and he's having a little look. And we'll watch it from his point of view, actually, because we can see absolutely everything going on in front. So this is Zesty leads this train, Pac-Man, then Hayward, Connor, and then Wazza. Oh, and is there a touch from the Ferrari a bit further forward? Wazza gets a bit sideways on the way out there as well. But this is going to leave Joe with an opportunity to take the inside line. Is he going to go down on both of them? No, he's not, but Pac-Man is going to try and keep his car on the outside, but has he run off the track there to keep that position? Interesting. We'll have to see what's said about that. And we've got Connor trying to keep his nose out of trouble. So this car's queuing up for the overtake. No one's been able to make it stick just yet. Pac-Man questionable as to whether he is on the track to defend that last move, but can't see it. Waz has taken a lot of curve there. That's risky stuff. Oh, and he taps the wall. Ooh. It just about keeps out the back of Connor there, and Tom is looking at Wazza going, I want a piece of that. He wants a piece of Wazza. Anyway, Reliot has absolutely clawed that lead back in, and he's actually brought Brandon with him, look. So he's a second away from Nell, but again, remember, they're running different tyres, so Nell shouldn't be too concerned about that. May force him to start using a bit of ERS, just to try and keep out of the DRS zone. But then Brandon is now a second back. Wazza must have picked some damage up off the tunnel there, so he pulls into the pits. Let's go back to Pac-Man. We'll watch it from Hayward's angle. And Cass is starting to close in on Hackett now, and in fact we will go to that little battle first because they're going to get the DRS. Let's not make sure we miss another overtaking opportunity down here. So here comes Cass. Is he going to be close enough? I think he is. He's on the attack here, and he decides to take the inside line, which should see it done, but Hackett's going to try and hang it round the outside. Let's watch it from Mikey's position, and he does. He gets the inside line, but Cass is able to keep it on the outside. Hackett's looking back round the outside again. Be careful of the wall on the outside he is, and Cass has to pull out of it. Mikey's sitting there waiting to try and mop some of this up, but not close enough on this occasion. So we've seen some really good fair racing from these guys so far tonight. It's been a great watch, and there's been action pretty much everywhere. Is Cass, is he trying to chuck it down the inside there? Don't know, but it compromised his exit. Mikey's having a look now, but Cass seems to have a lot of straight line speed, so it'll be interesting to see what his wings are. I wonder if he's on 50-50 or whether he's just absolutely draining his ERS. Whatever happens, down those straights, it's going to be a nightmare for Hackett to deal with if he has got low wings. But Pac-Man still frustrated behind Zesty, and it's killing his race because Zesty's on the hard tyres. Pac-Man is drilling his medium tyres. Can't make a move, and Mikey's just sat there watching really. He's just being sensible about it, which round here is absolutely the right thing to do, because someone will make a mistake somewhere. As Tom, oh, is that Connor coming into the pits? It is. That's why we're seeing some overtakes. Back to this battle that we were watching, and Pac-Man is out of the RS. So, oh, Mikey, oh, he's held on to it. Oh, it's Joe. Sorry, it's Joe that got the spin. Mikey's further up the track. Mikey was in the Mercedes yesterday with me, so that's why I'm thinking it was him. So it's Hayward, just getting a bit sideways, but manages to hold it. But he now drops off the back of these two, but I'm sure he'll gain on them as they start to fight. He's back within the second already. As Tom Putty and Guna are having a fight around the corner just behind, and Tom keeps his nose down the inside. He has to take to the curb. Guna tries to keep it down the inside, but can't make it stick. We've got Bob that's just watching this fight. Again, he'll be looking for an opportunity. See, he's just taking it easy around this part of the track. He wants to let these two fight and just mop up the crumbs as they come out. But Guna will pick his position very well. He won't make any silly moves. See Bob just harvesting a bit of battery while he can behind these two. Pac-Man the opposite, he's attacking as hard as he can, barely got any ERS. And Zesty just sitting there saying, nah mate, you ain't coming through. I'm going to hold you up as long as possible. I'm on the alternate strategy. And Reliot hasn't really made any inroads now into Nellboy. He's starting to pull a bit of a gap, but he has got away from Brandon. And Hackett, there's just a huge gap to Hackett, and through into turn one we've got Cass who's going down the inside. Hackett just has to get out of it and let Cass through. It'll be interesting now to see how quickly he gets down the road. Let's watch from Mikey's angle. Thought he might have been close enough to make an attack, and when I look at that Williams, I always think there's no wing on it, but I just think it's just a black wing, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's That's why you can't see it. But anyway, Mikey is not going to be close enough to make a move. But Guna is having another look at Tom Putty, I think. Not going to be close enough this time. Wonder if Tom just thought, I'll use a bit of battery this time. Keep him behind me. Oof, this Guna carries a lot of speed through there in comparison to Tom. And he just has to make sure he gets out of it. But like I say, it's been a very clean race so far, and I can guarantee you a lot of these drivers will have underfueled, which could make it very interesting later in the race. Because if they are underfueling and no safety car comes out, you better get lifting coasting, boys, or you're not going to make it. Anyway, Mikey is 6/10 away from Hackett, so can he start to make some gains and get past Hackett? Both on the hard tyre. Pac-Man's having another look at Zesty, and look, it's just through sector 3. I mean, he's just got so much quicker, partly to do with the tyres. But Zesty was struggling in quali. He was outside the top 10 as Guna does make it past, and Tom is in the pits. That's why. Wonder if he's got damage or whether he just thinks it's time for a tyre change. Maybe he's doing a two-stop. Mikey is ever closer. Is he going to be able to get him down into this next corner? I think he is. Let's get off board, see if we can watch it live on this camera straight down. As Mikey gets the inside line, we've seen a lot of people defend around the outside, Hackett being one of them already. And did he just stay in bounds there? I think he did. As Mikey now tries to sweep it around the outside. This is a lovely move so far. He's going to get the inside line, but Hackett sweeps around the outside. Is he going to have enough straight line speed? He's not. So Hackett keeps the place. And again, this is just bringing Zesty into it. And Pac-Man has actually been overtaken by Hayward somewhere. Missed that, but Hayward back in the action. Up into 8th. And is the next person to have a go at Zesty then. Can he make light work of it? As there's starting to be some gaps just starting to appear now in the field, and Relliot 2.5 seconds back from Nelvoy. Brandon 2 seconds back from Relliot. Cassell not been able to do any damage to that 7-second gap, but Hackett has dropped 3 seconds back. Mikey's just outside the second, so after the attack has just dropped off a little bit. But just finding his feet again now as sort of tinkering around that second mark. Zesty 2 seconds back from Mikey, and Hayward is putting some pressure on Zesty now. So will he have a go at him down the next DRS straight? As you can see, the Ferrari behind has also got DRS. I've said it a couple of times, but it's been some really clean driving and some really good overtaking going on. It's been enjoyable to watch, to be fair. As Hayward's trying to carry so much more speed through there. He is also on the hard tyres actually, so Hayward is going to give it some beans with his ERS. Which side will Zesty give him? He's going to give him the inside, but he's not close enough. And you can see Hayward's light is flashing, so struggling. Well, if you'd asked me at the start of the race, would there be no safety car by lap 11? I probably would have laughed at you. Hats off to these guys. Whoa, there's a tap there, and oh, is there some wing that's come off there? I think Pac-Man's going to be injured through that. Let's go on board with Hayward and look backwards. I can't see him. Let's look at Zesty and look back at Hayward. I mean, Hayward's wing looks okay. Can't really tell. Yeah, it looks okay. I wonder if it was Pac-Man then that lost a bit. I mean, he was quite strong through here earlier, so I wonder if that left end plate's just come off. Can't see from this angle. Hayward is coming in the pit. Pac-Man is also coming in the pit, so they have got some damage. I mean, it's probably not far off Pac-Man's pit window, but for Hayward, that's a bit early. Guna's made his way up into 8th, then Bog up into the points. So yeah, that was a bit of a chain reaction. Hayward just carried a bit more speed than Zesty through there, and Zesty will be glad of a bit of a rest from the fights that have been going on behind him. But what that has done is given us absolutely no fights on track. Everyone now is completely spread. So let's just watch a couple for laps from Nellboy, who's absolutely cruising. And look, not even touched his ERS. But oh, Mikey! Oh, Hackett's had a spin. That's why Mikey's got through. Zesty's also got through. So Hackett has been doing well all race and has just let 2 people by. So Mikey will accept that with open arms. Anyway, let's see if he can keep that gap going. But anyway, back to Nell in full control of this race so far. As I said, he's just being neat and tidy, hitting his apexes. Doesn't need to touch his ERS right now, and will use it when he needs to defend. Not a moment before. Might be worth him just giving it a little tap down some of the straights just to keep that gap open, but you just got to be careful of the rear end there. You see it trying to step out. But yeah, it's just been a solid performance by him so far. Brandon's down in 3rd, so needs a little bit of help. If he needs Brandon to drop a bit further down the field, because I think with that, I think, will it be a win? Let me try and do some maths while we're trying to watch some of the gaps to make sure we don't miss any overtakes. Sure, it was 29 points the difference. Yeah, so it's 29 points worth of difference. So no, he wouldn't win it. Brandon wouldn't win it today if it stayed as it was. I don't think. It's too late in the day to be doing maths. So it'd be 106 points versus 125. So yeah, he's got some points in the bank if Brandon wasn't able to finish. So yeah, Nellboy could do with Brandon having a bit of a shocker from here, just to give himself even more of a chance, but could still win the title next week. Interestingly for the constructors, because of the incident with Joe, actually Bog is picking up some points now, so would be massive for the constructors. And with Nellboy's ERS situation being the way it is, he wouldn't put it beyond him getting a fastest lap, but no point in risking binning it for 1 point, I don't think, although every point counts. But anyway, if you want a lesson in how to control a race, Nellboy's your man. He's starting to use a bit of ERS now, I think, just to keep that gap at 2 seconds. He knows that Reliot's tyres will start to go off now, so yeah, I wonder if he's going to pit soon as well. Might be the other reason that he's starting to use it. You can see he's just increasing that gap, so yeah, good racing from Nell. Zesty picks up a 3-second time penalty for running wide, probably. Hayward does the same, and Hackett is all over the back of Zesty now. So here we go. Hackett is going to chuck it down the inside, and he's got more than a car's length ahead, and he will switch to the inside, covers off Zesty. That is Hackett back through. He's got one of his positions back. He's got 5 seconds to go and find Mikey to try and gain back that 5th place. So let's just keep an eye on Zesty as Nellboy's now a 3-second gap out in front. So probably still using that ERS just to keep pushing down the track, but I don't think Nell really has to do anything yet. He can just sit and wait and react to the guys behind him because he's got a 3-second gap. And I think that's probably why he's trying to stretch the lead out a bit, just to give him some comfortable decision time should anyone want to make a pit stop. But the fact that Reliot's on mediums, and I think he is going to come in now actually, I think Reliot's on his way into the pits, he is. So it is time for Reliot, but what Nellboy will know is that he's going to come out onto the hard tyres, which are not that quick. so he shouldn't need to rush really, because the other thing is Relliot's going to be on cold tyres, and what's going to be important is where Relliot is coming out. So if he can, he's going to filter out behind this train of cars, which is not brilliant for him. Bobspun we need to keep an eye on because he's about to fly around this corner. So nah, he's out in front of him, so that's okay. But Relliot's got some work to do with a bunch of cars in front of him. Nellboy doesn't need to react to this if he doesn't want to. He can give it a lap or two. I mean, he doesn't want to take medium tyres 16 laps, so he probably wants to do another couple anyway. But if he knew that there was a gang of cars there, I think Nell would definitely stay out for a bit longer. Relliot moves over to the harder compound, which is a little bit slower. He's 2 seconds back. Let's go and look at his brother, who's now within a second of Zesty. And Zesty hasn't been his quickest tonight. Seen him dominate races, but maybe this track just doesn't suit his eye. Maybe he's done something with his setup which is not helping him. But either way, he's done well to bit in 6th, considering I think he qualified down in 12th or 13th, so he's done very well to be where he is. He's had a lot of pressure on him actually all night. So Nellboy carries on, not surprised about that. I think he can stay out for another couple. Relliot is now starting to reel in Bog. It'll be interesting to see whether Bog fights him hard or not, but we're just watching Gunnar at the Zesty. You can see Relliot a bit further back there, just about to join this train, but if he can get a DRS train, that might just help him close the gap to Nellboy. Even though he's out there, he's not getting DRS assistance, so that could help him in a way. But here comes Gunnar. I think Zesty is going to try and defend here, but not drinking his ERS. Gunnar's going to have a look around the outside. Zesty tries to squeeze him out to the wall to say, I am here, remember. But Zesty keeps the outside line, and this is not going to be good for Relliot if he gets held up by these guys. Let's watch it on board with him. This is the last thing he wants for his potential race win. Can ill afford to be stuck behind this group. And Bog really probably not going to want to let him through because he wants Nell to get the win, but this could be playing into Brandon's hands as well though, so Bog's not going to want to completely hold him up. And here comes Relliot. No, he can't make the move there. And he's got Bobspun, who's looking like an interested party just behind him, so let's watch from his view. And sorry, I'm staying on the onboard camera. It's just that I can see a lot more of the action than we could on some of the off-board cameras. Oh, and Bobspun is coming into the pit, so that takes him out of that fight, which is good news for Relliot. But he's really not going to want to get stuck behind these three for too much longer, because Nellboy, whilst in the corners it's not great, I mean it will help him in the DRS zone, but as Wazza gets past Bobspun, who's in the pits, and here comes Relliot now. He's got a really good exit, and Bob covers off the inside early, and Relliot is going to get through that, I think, quite comfortably. Fresher tyres, and yet he's through, and now he's got his brother in front of him and his teammate. So will he let his brother through here to try not to ruin his race? Let's see. Yes, he will. So he's going to let Relliot through, keep Bog behind him, and off goes Relliot towards Zesty, who's been a hard customer to get through. But you'd imagine that his pit window is starting to open up, and it looks like Brandon is starting to close that gap a little out front. So at some point we're going to see how much damage this wait time has been for Relliot. Nellboy carries on. Brandon looks like he's carrying on. And to be fair, they could be waiting for a safety car because how far out in front they are, it's probably not a bad idea. Not here, Elliot, not here. Hold on. Just get a good exit out onto one of these straights. And here he goes. So he's got so much more grip. Get your ERS down. Zesti's letting him know he's there. He can't quite get alongside him, so hold off for the next straight. See if you can get the DRS longer straight. And look, he's trying to get better traction out of there. That's a good move. So now it's all about the exit of this next corner. And he runs it nice and wide. And look at him closing the gap up here. This should be it for Relia. Get your ERS on. Stick behind him in the slipstream. But Zesty is so quick in a straight line. Relia's getting very close to his bumper. But that's good racing. This must be so frustrating for him. He must be losing so much time on those leaders. But Zesty has been a nuisance all race. And you can just see the amount of grip that Relia's got in comparison. Could try a little dive at the inside here, but again, Zesty's looking pretty quick. But you can see that Relia's just trying to get the wide line to get a good exit. But just look how much traction Zesty's got there. Like, he hasn't even pitted. How's he doing it? And there's some yellow flags, and it's an Alpine. Who is it? Oh, they're moving. It's not going to be a safety car. And that would have been the worst possible news for Relia. You could just see how much more grip he's got. He's just got to be patient. But I think the straight line speed of Zesty here is just making it impossible for him to get around it. But Zesty is coming in. Relia has been released, so it's time. It's Relia time. It's the equivalent of hammer time, but better. So he's got to crack on now. And Nellboy looks a long, long way down the road. Wonder if his brother will be asking for a little bit of a tow. Help me out, brother. So Zesty in the pits. He has battled hard tonight for not too much gain really, but let's jump back on board with Nellboy. He's still cruising out front with a nice whack of ERS to use if he needs it. But he won't know it, but that pit stop from Relia really hurt him. I don't think he'll know that unless he's in a chat with him. But I doubt it, not in opposite teams. And is it Nellboy's time to come in? Not yet. There's no need for him really. He might even hang it out for a safety car, but what's Brandon doing? Brandon is going to come in, so that will be Nellboy's cue to come in, I think. Mikey up into third. Very happy with that. I think that's probably because Cass pitted last lap. So will he follow Brandon or will he follow Nell? He's going to follow Nell. And to be honest, it's probably not too bad of an option to try and hold out for a safety car. Because if he gets a safety car, it's just could help him jump Brandon. I think it's a big ask, but Relia is through on Brandon, so it's not hurt him too much. But has Guna come through? He hasn't. Oh, that would have been massive. But if Guna can get Brandon whilst his tyres are cold, Hackett and Bog are now in, then Guna could play a big part in this because he could just hold up Brandon. But I don't think he's going to be close enough. I think Brandon is starting to fire those mediums up. It won't take as long as the hards. So there's a 2.5 second gap to Relia. So it's not done Relia too bad. And in fact, I think Nellboy, not sure what the pit loss is here. Wazza picks up a 3-second penalty. Not sure what the pit loss is here, but he's got about 27, 28 seconds on Relia. That's going to be tight. Let's see if he's going to come in. Might even give it one more, and no, he's not. He's going to come in. Here he comes. So let's get on board with Relia and see if he decides to stay out. But has Mikey made a mistake actually? Because at one point I was thinking he might get Brandon, but he's not far from Relia. I wonder if he's made a little bit of a mistake, but when he pits, that's going to cost him dearly. Is he going to come in? He is coming in. So Relia on his way round. Nell Boy on his way out. This is going to be tight. I think Relia might get this, you know. I think Relia's going to get this. How's he done that? Brilliant. What about Brandon? He's on his way around, but Nell Boy filters out in front. So not the end of the world for Nell, but I honestly thought that Relia behind those cars would have been losing time. But I wonder if the DRS straights just pulled him along a little bit. But you would still say this is very much in Nell Boy's hands. Fresh, medium tyres against some fairly used hards of Relia. He has got Brandon behind him. But the pace he's shown today, you'd expect him to be on the back of Relia very, very soon. And there's Brandon who's chasing him. He's outside of a second. Just needs to bridge that gap if he can. And he might be able to, because Relia might just slow Nell Boy down a little bit here. But Nell Boy is going to be conscious that he doesn't want Brandon to pick up that DRS. And he hasn't yet. And Nell Boy is getting it. So he's going to have a look at him early, but no, he backs out. I think he would have liked to have got it done there, but doesn't want to put himself in any danger. But this race has just got a whole lot more interesting. These two on the mediums will be able to stay on them to the end. So will Relia. So a safety car might make this even more interesting. Because you might want to see one of them gamble. But here comes Nell Boy. He's been saving up his battery and he's through quite comfortably. So yes, he lost out in the pits, but the fresher tyres have just given him a boost, and Brandon is all over the back of Relia. And I think Waz has made it through on Guna, but he's in the pits. So Relia, I think it's going to be easy meat here. Difficult on those hard tyres, but what Nell is going to want is Relia to just hold him up as long as possible, as Brandon just can't find a way through there, and Nell has broken the second, so that could be huge to the outcome of this race, because if Brandon then can't catch Nell, oh, this is going to be an interesting place to try it, and I think Brandon's thought better of it. All he needs, if he gets a podium, he'll be happy, I think, because he will take a lot away from Nell. So it's not, the championship isn't won right here, right now, and I'm sure there will be more opportunities before the end of this race, as he's having a look around the outside already, and he has got it already, so that chance didn't take much longer. So it paid off for him to wait, and he's now got through and can try and come after Nell, who is 1.5 seconds down the road. So 8 laps to go. Well, probably 7. As Joe is quite close in on Mikey now, who is down in 6th. Waz has done well to get back up to 5th. He snuck his way back up there. Must have the pit stops must have sorted him out a little bit. What tyres have we got people on? So Waz is on the hards. He's been on them for a long time. That's why you see him up there. That could be a struggle towards the end of the race. Hayward's on 10 lap old mediums. Mikey's on lovely fresh mediums. So might be able to make some inroads on Wazza, but Wazza, we know he is quick, as Hayward's back in the pits for some new mediums. You're going to start to see people push their way through. But Guna looks pretty close to Zesty. This battle continues now they've pitted. This is for your final point position. Bob is not far behind, just watching this go on again. Seems to be hanging around the back of these two like a bad smell, but Guna pushing hard now, is on the back of him. And he's going to get the outside line, which will become the inside line around the next corner. So I think Zesty will try and keep his nose in, but Guna's done enough already to get through. So Bog's turn now to put Zesty under some pressure. Guna finally gets it done. Lap 23, he's got Pac-Man a bit further down the road, who is actually fighting Hackett. Oh, he hits the wall. Oh, if that's damage, that could bring Guna back into play for an extra point. So we'll see. 3.7 seconds the gap. Oh, and there's the DNF. It's Connor. There he is. Oh, and Hayward nearly hits him, but backs out. That's going to be a safety car. It is. And it's picked Nellboy up immediately. That's not what Nellboy would have wanted, because he had a nice gap to Brandon. Relia, it will bunch it back up for him, but it will put Cass in. But Cass has decided to pit, and it's not a bad idea, because I think he's going to get back out in front of quite a few people. Is it the softs he's going for? It is. It is, and they will struggle towards the end. But I think Wazza is also coming in for them. Mikey wants to take the positions because his mediums are reasonably fresh. So that jumps him up into fourth. Bob Spun comes through on hards. He's going to be a sit and duck, surely, with some of these soft runners. Can Hackett just jump through a couple of these? I think he's going to get through on Wazza. Not Cass, though, I don't think. No, he's not. Cass is already out. So Guna stays out on the mediums. Wazza actually puts on fresh mediums. That's an interesting choice. I would have thought the softs would have been the play. Tom stays out on hards in that final points position. Then we've got Pac-Man, Bog, and Zesty. And this is why you save tyres at the in qualifying to bring out some fresh softs at the end. Has Bog come out on the softs? Yeah, he's thrown the dice. He's going to give it a go. And to be fair, it's taken 23 laps before we got a safety car. It's been some very good driving here from this division. So well done to everyone involved. Nellboy really has dominated this race from start to finish. So it's going to be a couple more laps behind the safety car. We're probably going to get about 5 laps of racing, I reckon. So let's just remind you of the tyre situation. Cassell, the highest car on soft tyres. Bob Spun stayed out with his 7-lap-old hards. He could be in a bit of trouble with the cars behind him on much softer compound. Little Mikey stayed out. His tyres are fresh. Reliot could be in a little bit of trouble as well with Mikey behind him. Then you've got Hackett, Guna, Wazza all on medium tyres. Pretty new. Tom stayed out with 14-lap-old hard tyres, which, based on his position, would have thought he would have come in and swapped those. But then Hayward decided to flip to the mediums. Pac-Man Bog goes soft. Zesty comes out on mediums. He finds himself at the back of the grid after a very good race, actually. He's been an absolute wall for a lot of cars. So Mikey's up 2 places, Bob Spun is down a place, Cass up 2, Guna up 2, Wazza down 4, Putty up 4, Hayward down 2, Bog up 2, Pac-Man up 1, Zesty down 2, and Connor in the bin. Right, your time penalties, 3 seconds for each of those, so we don't really need to keep them up. Zesty picks up another one. So as I say it, he's now got 6 seconds. So just to prove me wrong, eh? Just to prove me wrong. And does it behind the safety car for good measure. So with a bit of luck, we might get a safety car in this lap. Those 2 at the back just need to catch up, as Nellboy says, get on with it. Get on with it, safety car. Get out of here. I've got this. Cool, so the safety car is coming in this lap, so Nell is now going to take over the pace of the pack. Got quite a few corners to go through before he can get started. Got to wait for the safety car to fully get in the pits before you can go again. So Nell will hold them up around these next few corners, and then he'll pick his point and floor it as much as he dares with nice cold tyres. So there's Brandon waiting in the wings. When is Nell going to go? It's easier to see when we're on board, and then we'll look back. Here he goes. And Brandon has done his best to keep up with it. Mikey looks like he's putting on some pressure on Reliant, but it has dropped back, so he's under pressure from Bob Spun. Then there's a big gap back to Cass Hackett. Looks like he's putting some pressure on. He can't get through, so it's as you were from behind the safety car. No one tries it into turn one, as it looks like there's a McLaren running wide there. Cass is on the back of him. He's got the soft tyres. This could be interesting because they're all bunched up in front. How much more grip is Cass going to have here, and how long will the grip hold on? They're only 4 or 5 laps. Good. Decides not to throw it up the inside, even though he's got ultra grip. Maybe he wants a bit of time to warm them up. Using quite high gears to try and reduce the wheel spin, but you've got the soft tyres on, you can be a bit more aggressive than that, Cass. But maybe just waiting for the right time. What do I know? Ooh, I thought he was going to have a little look down the inside there, but decides against it. So Nell Boy's pulled out a 1.5 seconds. Pac-Man's through on Tom Putty. How did that happen? Looks like it might have happened out of the exit of the hairpin. So Pac-Man gets through. There's already a second gap there, which Pac-Man's trying to close in. Waz is putting pressure on Gooner in front. Cass on those soft tyres. He needs to try and move forward quickly because those soft tyres will only last so long. It's not very long round here, and Mikey's managed to warm those medium tyres up. Can he put Relia under some pressure and snatch the podium away from him after he's looked really strong all race? And there's more warnings. There's Pac-Man with a 3-second penalty. Someone else picked one up. I didn't see it before Pac-Man splashed up. Looks like someone that already had a penalty, to be fair. But this battle for the last podium place, but Cass is putting some pressure on Bob Spun now, who, look at the grip he's getting out of this corner. Surely, with a bit of ERS, he can make it happen, but both must be absolutely chewing through their ERS. They are, but he is going to be able to brake so much later. But he's not going to get it done. The McLaren is just an absolute roadblock for him. It's a nightmare. Maybe just got to get a little bit braver. I could be wrong. He might be pushing it to the limit already, but he's going to get through. He's got to do it sooner rather than later. Those soft tyres not going to last forever. Give it some beans. Give it some beans. And you can just see Bob Spun gets away well out of the corner. Wazza is putting more and more pressure on Gooner. Again, not close enough to make a move. Pac-Man is trying to put some pressure on Wazza, so you would think that Gooner here is maybe just holding Wazza up and it's bringing the Ferrari into play. See how close they are. As Pac-Man actually tags the wall there. I wonder if it's caused any damage, but Pac-Man, I mean, he's looking for some opportunistic overtaking space. Maybe he's just trying to make Wazza feel uncomfortable, and I'm sure he is. DRS is now available, which... well, that's music to Mikey's ears anyway, and I'm sure Cass too. That will just give him the extra boost he needs. Let's go to Mikey first. He's going to be the first person to get DRS. Nellboy 1.5 seconds out in front now. Brandon's opened up a gap to Relia as well. So, Mikey, what have you got in the tank? Fresh, medium tyres, DRS. He's going to have to hold off on the ERS maybe for the next lap, but Cass is now all over the back of the McLaren. And I think he's going to make it stick this time. He's going to have so much more grip through here. And he has tagged the McLaren. I don't know whose fault that was really, but Bob Spun has spun. Around he goes. He goes to the back of the pack. Oh, and he's been disqualified. I think that's probably more unfortunate than anything. Trying to get back on track. Gets done for going the wrong way. So, a horrible couple of seconds there for Bob Spunt. Mikey's just got to make sure he doesn't fall out of that second gap from Reliot. And he's really got to hope that Cass's tyres fall off a cliff, because he's now free to come after him. Gunnar is 4/10 back from Hackett. Wazza not really dropped back. I think it would be unfair to say, but Hackett seems to be holding that group up now. And Cass is really starting to put some pressure on Mikey in front. So Mikey needs to get past Reliot to just give himself a bit of defence. 3 laps to go. Nelboy's still dominating the race. 1.5 seconds out in front. 2.5 seconds back Reliot. And he's got Mikey and Cass coming after him. Mikey with the DRS open. Saving a bit of ERS for an attack though, I think. You see, he's just got a lot of confidence. There's some yellow flags. I think it's Zesty at the back. Spun out the last corner, and Mikey looks ever closer. Closer than he has been. Is he going to use his ERS? He is. So, can he use the ERS and DRS power? I think he's going to save the ERS for now. And I wonder if Cass has maybe burned as Gunnar gets past on Hackett. Hackett's going to try and make it stick around the outside. He defends a position. Wazza's trying to be opportunity. He has. He's got around the outside of Gunnar. So Gunnar went from attack to losing a position to Wazza in the end. So, wow, he's gone from 6th back to 8th. Started in 7th. What a crazy couple of corners. Just goes to show, if you do try and make a move, it can cost you. But that group are just as close as they were when they finished. And Cass is looking closer to Mikey. But Mikey's got the defence of his DRS because of Reliot. So, like I said a lap ago, Mikey needs the defence of getting past Reliot. And to be honest, Reliot will be saying, cheers Mikey, keep him there. Brandon's still not able to make any headway into Nelboy, but Brandon is not going to be disappointed with the 2nd place. Doesn't need to do anything heroic, just needs to get as many points as he can. And this part of the track, Mikey seems to be really strong at. He's not even using any ERS here, so this is the lap, surely. This is his chance. And I think he got a bit robbed of a podium yesterday. Is this his chance to redeem himself in his league? And he's getting aggressive on Reliot here. Here comes the ERS. The DRS is open. Can he get close enough? He's coming up to the inside of him now. Can he make it stick down the inside? He's got the fresher tyres. He's got the softer tyres. He does make the move. Look at Cass behind Reliot. Running out of ERS. There's another battle going on between Wazza and Hackett. And Hackett manages to hold it again. Cass is now going around the outside of Reliot. Can't keep up with it all. But Reliot just keeps the inside line. Keeps Cass behind him. Mikey is going to be able to pull out a bit of a lead. And Cass is running out of ERS. So he's going to be relying all on grip. And the grip of those tyres won't be lasting too much longer, I'll tell you that. So good couple of laps. Gunnar is now through on Joe. Wazza's dropped back is what's happened, and Zesty has gone in the pits. Oh, he's crossed the line on the way out of the pits. So let's keep an eye on Cass. Actually, he's the one that's putting the pressure on. It's Reliot. So Mikey up into the podium places. So he's loving Singapore this week. He's had a cracking week. He came 4th, I think it was, in Division 2 yesterday. Bob makes up a place on Wazza. So I wonder if Wazza's got some damage and we just didn't see it. But can Cass do anything about Reliot in front? We know he's running out of ERS. So Reliot might just need to pick his places to use his. But those soft tyres will be falling away. But we're on to the final lap. We've got Nelboy just about 2 seconds ahead of Brandon, who's 3 seconds ahead of Mikey. Reliot is now a second away from Mikey, who could have done with the DRS help from Mikey. So he might have to absolutely spank his ERS down this straight to keep Cass behind him. Cass is going to come flying up behind him here. I think he might be a bit too far back right now. And Reliot can fight another corner. And he's got one more DRS straight. If he can defend that, you'd think he'd be okay. And there's some yellow flags. I don't know who for. Oh, it's Zesty at the back. So we won't worry about that. And Relliot's just got to hold this together. Keep that 4th place. And he's just away from that DRS zone. And look at Cash trying to get the best exit he can. But Relliot has got away reasonably well. He's going to cover off the inside. He knows this is the last chance for Cass to make the move. As we've got more yellow flags further back, and it's the Mercedes of Hayward. Oh, he's in the wall on the last lap. Let's go back forward. Let's not miss anything from Cass. But that's huge for constructors because Bog's up in 8th. Nelboy's winning the race. Brandon's closed into a 2nd. Let's jump on board with Nelboy, who's going to come around the final corner now and has absolutely dominated this race from start to finish. Congratulations, Nelboy, on the win. Brandon, Championships hopes very much. It's pretty much got 2 hands on there. Mikey, brilliant race to get the podium. And Relliot fought his nuts off to get that 4th place. Deserved a bit more, I think, but great racing from him. And Cass, soft tyres nearly paid off at the end. Couldn't quite get it done for 4th, but Hackett had a tough race. Lots of fighting in there, but gets 6th in the end. Gunnar into 7th. Bog finds his way into 8th after being very patient all race. And Pac-Man had a very eventful race up into 9th. And Wazza takes the final points place. Tom Putty 11th. Joe, after look at him with no wing, puts it in the wall on the last lap to lose some vital championship points. And then Zesty, who's just been a pain in the arse for everyone all night, blocking everyone, but just had a dreadful last few laps, which will see him come across the line in 13th. And then we've got Connor and Bobspun. Well, Connor DNF'd and Bobspun got disqualified. A bit unfortunate. We saw that there was some contacts. He spun and then, well, got done for going the wrong way round the track. And Ryan has put in the wall, but that will count as a finish, I think. But anyway, what a race. Only one safety car, and Bog has been given driver of the day for probably the positions that he's made up. But Nelboy has absolutely dominated this race and absolutely deserves the win. So that'll be the Haas team closing in on the Mercs, and Hayward chucked away some vital points at the end. Don't know if it was his fault or someone's giving him a nudge, but again, I'm sure we'll find out later. There goes Nell celebrating his victory along with the Mercedes of Brandon, and Brandon pretty much 2 hands on that title now. Just needs no mistakes in the last race, which is next week. Unfortunately, I won't be here to see it because the mighty West Ham are in the Conference Cup. But good luck to you boys for next week. But just to round it off, Nelboy dominated from start to finish. Brandon in 2nd place, as I was just saying, both hands on that cup. Little Mikey with a brilliant race, finds his podium. 2 good races in a row from him. And then Relliot in 4th. You'd think he deserved a podium. He raced really, really well. Cass fighting hard at the end there, gets 5th place. Hackett's done a good job of fighting off quite a few people. Ernst is 6th place. Gunnar is there at the right time. He ends in 7th. Bog just hanging around, waiting for the carnage in front of him to unfold. He gets 8th. Pac-Man in 9th after an eventful race. Wazza in 10th after moving up and down the grid. And then we've got Tom, Joe, Zesty who finished. Then we've got Connor in 14th. And then the disqualified Bobspun in 15th. So brilliant race. Gutted I won't be here for the final next week. But good luck to all the racers out there. Nelboy and Brandon will be fighting out for the title. We've got a constructors battle to win yet as well. So it's all to play for. Brandon just needs to keep it on track, you feel. But it's all there to play for. So good luck to everyone next week. Thanks for joining today. And we'll see you next week.